Hello, friends. It is Masters Week, and me and Pat are in person together.
Yes. What a great spot we have here, DB. It's wonderful.
It's not the casting couch we do at your house, but
Yeah.
it's welcome to where the magic happens, Pat.
Well, it's great to be here, and I love Masters Week, so I'm very excited about what all we've got here for Better Sports Network.
We've got a ton to talk about on this episode. We do need to let you know we're recording this early because Masters Week is crazy for us being local here in Augusta, Georgia. So we're recording this on a Sunday afternoon. We're awaiting a couple of things. We're awaiting what's going to happen at the Valero Texas Open.
Yes.
What's going to happen at Live Orlando.
That which is, there's some interesting things already happening.
There are. The result of our shoe shot bet that me and Pat have going. It's a pretty hot battle right now at Valero.
Mm-hmm.
The weather situation in Augusta, we were looking at it a couple of hours ago, looks very interesting for the weekend, especially if it holds up. Now, both of us being local Augustans, we know that the weather in Augusta is extremely schizophrenic.
It really is. Yeah,
it can go here and there and change on a dime. But looking ahead, it could really change, especially how you go about choosing your player pool in DFS or in betting or anything like that. We could be possibly looking at a 07 Zach Johnson situation.
Yeah, it could very well happen. You just look, even yesterday, we were both out there for the women's amateur. You had a big storm that came through. It looked terrible. It was super windy. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was sunny in the afternoon. Now it was still windy, but the course plays so much more difficult when you got the wind and then you have the gusts that we're probably going to see, especially the weekend. And then look, we know anything can happen on Amen Corner, especially number 12. Those winds are swirling. We saw it happen the Tiger Woods year where all those folks were just hitting it in the water, and Tiger Woods hit it in the middle of the green and ended up winning. So a lot of things can change because of the weather. And like you said, that Zach Johnson year was crazy. I mean, it was nuts. So it'll be interesting to see later in the week what that's going to look like.
We got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about some key trends, some things to know before betting, before locking in those DFS plays, whatever it may be. For Masters Week, we're going to talk about our cash lineup strategy for Masters. We're going to do a lot of things. But before we get into that, I think, Pat, being a couple locals from Augusta, our producer Tony had the great idea. He was like, people want to know, what's it like in Augusta, the atmosphere. You and I both have gone there since we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up extremely privileged. So you've been going since you were in diapers, I guess. You were there when Larry Mize chipped in and might have been a very important moment in your young life.
Well, it's the first Masters I really remember being out there for. It was in '87 when Larry Mize chipped in, and that was. And I think I even high-fived him when he was in the golf cart, like driving up to the Butler cabin afterwards. So that was cool. And then DB, I mean, that me being on the front row, shouting Freddie. Freddie, when Couples won in 1992 was a special moment for me as well.
Yeah. I caddied at Augusta in college for a couple years, had some fun times there. But I think some people want to know, I think this, okay, if someone's going to come to the Masters for the first time, Pat, what is it that you tell them they need to look out for, pay attention to, little things that us locals kind of know?
Well, I think there's a few things that if you're going out to the tournament, the things you got to know. First off, my favorite spot to actually watch golf is at 2 Green. Because you can walk right down the hill. And one of the things you'll notice when you get out there for the first time is how hilly it is. I mean, it basically slopes from the top down, from the clubhouse all the way down to the bottom at Amen Corner. It's quite a walk when you're coming back, actually. But number 2 is not a difficult walk down there from the clubhouse where you really enter there. And you get to see a lot of approach shots. It's a par 5, so you're going to see guys either lay up or go for it in 2. You're going to see a lot of birdies there. It's typically a birdie hole, big, wide, green. And there's usually not like a ton of people there. So it's a good spot to just watch golf. And then I think everybody for your first time has to walk the entire course.
Yeah.
You've got to walk the entire course and see everything, see every nook and cranny of, what those greens actually look like in person, because it is true. The TV with HD and whatever, the quality we have now does not do it justice to go see those greens. So I think that's important as well. And then you just got to pay attention to how every little thing that Augusta does is like a masterpiece. I mean, even going to the bathroom is a masterpiece, DB.
It's one of my favorite
It's amazing.
things to do.
It's amazing. I mean, you'll see you may want to talk about the bathroom a little more.
I would love to. It's one of my favorite things to tell people because it is a great example of the excellence of, in which the Masters carries on that tournament. Sure, you're going to notice how finely manicured every piece of grass, all the leaves are gone. There's no leaves on the ground. You don't see a lot of wildlife out there. Everybody's dressed appropriately and all the workers are friendly and they're all saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, please, thank you. You're going to notice all those things.
Yeah. It's like Disney World for adults, really.
Yeah, but and you could go to a nice sporting event. I don't, I've never been to the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl or maybe a national. We've been to the national title game when Georgia beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Cool thing or whatever. But there's not a sporting event in the world that just runs it as well and is just tip top as Augusta National. And they do this for the peasants, not like the green jackets, like for regular people, the patrons who go into the Masters.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a special ticket. All the bathrooms, you walk into the bathroom, you just got, let's say you're in the middle of the course, it could be anywhere, and you just gotta go to the bathroom. And
things happen.
You walk in and there are a number of usually high schoolers, usually because a lot of people don't know that the spring break for all the schools in this area are during Masters Week so that we can all rent our houses out or get out of town or whatever we want to do. So spring break is always Masters Week. So some of the high school kids will stay back. My son's done it before and work at the National. And for 1 week out of the year, the National figures out how to make all these little, assholes the most like polite, friendly people they've ever, but then they return them and they're still jerks again.
Yeah.
But anyway, there'll be a couple of high schoolers there in the bathroom. And as you walk in, one of them will go, sir, do you need a stall? And I'll go, yeah, I think I do. I've had a few pimento cheese, I've had a few barbecue. The beers are coming, they're ready to yes, I need a stall. Okay, cool. And they will usher you to a stall. And then another high school kid will have come out of that stall. He sprayed it with some lovely concoction and he's wiped your toilet seat down for you.
Yeah.
So you have the cleanest experience you could possibly have. And they do that for everyone from Saturday of Anwa, Sunday of Drive, Chip, and Putt, all the way till the end of the end of the tournament.
It's quite amazing.
And for everybody, the patrons, like it's incredible.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, outside of the bathrooms, like you mentioned concessions. I mean, obviously you got to have your pimento cheeses. People like the egg salads. They like the barbecues. I think the sneaky best thing that they have in the concession stands, though, is the chicken biscuit in the mornings. Okay. Now they run out in the mornings, probably stop selling it around like 10 a.m., but you got to try that. And of course, all the beers and everything, but the concessions are even run just fantastic. I mean, you're not waiting in line for too long. You just fly on through there. I mean, you can get like 10 egg salad sandwiches and a couple beers and it's $25.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They're definitely priced very cheaply. Now, on the other hand, the shop, if you want to buy things, you're going to come out of there at least spending $500, and that's probably the minimum.
But honestly, they could charge a whole lot more. Like we just went to the Players Championship at Sawgrass, and polos at the Players are more than this shirt you got yesterday.
Yeah,
and so I mean, they could charge a heck of a lot more and they don't. Speaking of the pro shop, we actually, one of the hottest items in the pro shop every year is the gnome.
Yes,
it's the gnome, and there's a couple different versions of the gnome. And if you stick around, you watch till the end of the show in our final block. We are going to give away. We're going to tell you how we're going to be able to give away. The Better Sports Network is giving away a caddy gnome, and I'll show that to you in a later segment here. So stick around there. All right. Well, that's kind of like some behind the scenes stuff at Augusta. We could probably dedicate a whole show to this.
Yeah, we could.
But we probably shouldn't. We should. Let's check in with what's going on at the PGA Tour and the Live event, because right now you've got the Valero Texas Open going down in San Antonio. I mean, I pray to God Patrick Rodgers does not win this golf tournament, because if Patrick Rodgers manages to finally win a PGA Tour event after, I don't know, how many years has he been on tour? Like
since like 2012.
He's been on tour. Obama was in office. He's still never won anything, and he's lost people a lot of money over the years, a lot, including these two guys.
Yes,
these two guys have lost a lot of money on Patrick Rodgers. Now, you know what I just thought about? Maybe it's the Stanford narrative, because Rose Zhang, the number one female amateur in the world, just won the Augusta National Women's Amateur after knocking on the door for every year that they've had it. She just won yesterday, Stanford. Patrick Rodgers went to Stanford. and maybe it's the Stanford narrative, but he is now currently tied. He had a one-shot lead going into this round. He is tied with Corey Connors at 12 under through 4 holes. You got Sam Ryder, Matt Kuchar, Sam Stevens, and Chris Kirk all at 8 under or 9 under. So, they got to get moving. But
Connors, by the way, won here back in, I guess, 2017 or 18 to get to his first Masters.
Yeah.
And because this is the last chance of these guys, if you aren't already in the tournament, if you win this week, you will get in the Masters. So if Patrick Rodgers wins, he's not already in the Masters, he will get in. Connors is already in, so it doesn't really matter this time around. But a guy like Sam Ryder, too, is not in the Masters.
Well, how many Masters has it been since Matt Kuchar hasn't been in it?
At least a couple years.
Really?
I think so. He wasn't in it last year.
Oh, he wasn't? I thought he was. Well, we don't need to talk too long about that because you're probably watching this and it's already ended. But also in Live World, Brooks Koepka has a 1-shot lead now over Mito Pereira, a 2-shot lead over Patrick Reed, Sebastian Munoz, Laurie Cantor, and those guys. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of let's take a look at guys, who in the Live field who are playing at Augusta. You've got obviously Koepka, you've got Reed, you've got Mito, DJ's right there at 7 under, so having a decent week. Abraham Answers at 6 under, Charles Schwartzel's at 6 under, Cam Smith is at 5, Thomas Peters HV3, Kokrak all at 5 under as well. So, a few of these Live guys that we've kind of been waiting to see what's going to happen. So, waiting to see, are they going to show any sort of form at all? And Brooks is kind of
I mean, you haven't seen much from Brooks, and now all of a sudden, here he is, just peeping his little head up, saying, "You know what? Guess what, guys?"
He's like,
"Yeah,
you know what that smells like?
It smells like a major.
It smells like major season.
Yeah,
I smell major brewing,
which we know he can do.
Yeah, dude, this is interesting. He's healthy now. The knee is healthy.
Yeah,
he could also be the first ever 2-time winner of a live golf tournament. Because no one's done it twice so far. He did it last year, but started out this year kind of weak. Finished 31st in Mayakoba, 29th in Tucson. Remember, that's only out of 48 players, but currently has a lead. Now Mito is charging. He's birdied 3 of his first 4 holes at 11 under, and we know Mito has the chops, man. I mean, this kid was one probably, honestly, poor choice to me, and then a poor swing away from being a PGA champion. Was at Southern Hills where he hit the driver in the water on the 18th hole. Probably shouldn't have hit driver. We saw other guys before him not hitting driver on that hole, or we could have been talking about Mito Pereira as a major champion. But here he is now having a good week again at Tucson. Now in Orlando, he finished 16th at Mayakoba and 6th in Tucson. So he's about to have probably one of the sneaky best first few starts of the Live season for whatever that's worth heading into Augusta.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that what's interesting is if you're looking at the odds right now for Augusta, and we'll get into that a little bit later in more detail, but he's 150 to 1, or if not, better than that on some sites. So, that's a pretty good number for him. Or maybe we look at a top 10 number on Mito. Kind of liking that a little bit. He's definitely showing that form. And you're right. I mean, really probably should have won a major last year.
Yeah. We'll talk more about some of the Live guys, some of the plays that we're looking at, we're thinking about for Masters Week. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about some of the changes to Augusta National, and maybe just key stats, what we're seeing with the weather. Hit on all that. Obviously, we've got our gnome giveaway, so you're going to want to stay around for that. Tour Junkies Golf Show in person here where the magic happens on the Better Sports Network. Coming right back.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network.
Calvin Ridley yesterday, he applied for reinstatement from the National Football League.
Ridley, Kirk, Zay Jones, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence. That is crazy potent on offense.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, Ridley's great.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a guy I want in fantasy this year.
I think you're probably right. I think they're just going to get better and better. First off, Peterson's a wonderful offensive mind, a great head coach, and we've seen that and saw that this year as Jacksonville made it to the postseason. And Trevor Lawrence, anybody that questioned whether or not he could play in the National Football League or just how good he was going to be in the NFL, those questions were answered this past season as in the second half of the year. Statistically speaking, he was a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. That's how good Trevor Lawrence is. You throw Calvin Ridley into the mix, It's going to be great. Yeah, I think Lawrence is a guy you want. I think Ridley's a guy you want. Clearly, Travis Etienne is going to be one of those early, first-round selections as well, being the dual-threat running back that he is, not only running, but also catching the ball out of the backfield, Keith, and the ability to take something small and take it to the house. Take a 5-yard dump pass, make a guy miss in the open field, and he's gone. I mean, you saw that with Travis Etienne this past season for Jacksonville. Yeah, sky's the limit. I mean, I think you're going to go from a team in the year span where you wanted no part of the Jacksonville Jaguars when you're looking at fantasy football to where you want as many Jaguars as you possibly can, because they're going to be really, really productive. And let's see if they get their tight end back as well, who had
Evan Ingram was great.
And Evan Ingram, who was great this past season.
Yeah. I mean, if they keep that whole core together, their offense is going to be one of the best in football. Like, I legitimately think that they could be one of the best offenses in football.
Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, then you throw
Ridley,
Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, a good offensive line, and you've got Doug Peterson being creative calling.
Right?
And you look at that division. The Colts are a mess.
Yep.
Titans
look like they're on the downslide.
Titans are on the downslide, right? That window is clearly closed. And then you got the Houston Texans.
Years away from relevancy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacksonville could win 11 games next year.
Moose and Keith. Weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Better Sports Network. Making you money in daily fantasy sports and golf betting. Tour Junkies on Better Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the Tour Junkies Golf Show, talking Masters. Me and Pat Perry together in my house at Augusta, Georgia. Excited to be on the Better Sports Network. By the way, we didn't talk about this up top, but we did a FSGA fantasy golf season-long draft through Fantrax that you can find on bettersports.com on demand. Check it out. It's a really cool show. It lasted like a couple hours, and the draft went fast. Draft lasted about an hour. Then we kind of recapped and broke it down. But we had like 20 different teams represented from all kind of experts in the fantasy and betting industry joined us. Me and Pat hosted it. Did a season-long draft. It's set up a lot like your typical fantasy football league would be set up.
Yeah,
we got 14 players on our team. We're going to start 5 every week. Had a good draft, and I think what you learn from it by watching it is some of the stuff we talked about with every player was, talking about them in reference to DraftKings or betting or what kind of players they are, or what type of courses they fit or styles that they play to. So check that out. It was really good content. It's the first time we've ever done it. It was a really fun thing to do here on Better Sports. So check that out. Talking about the golf course, Pat, before we move on to a few like trends, stats, things to know in terms of betting. Mm-hmm. There's been some changes to Augusta National.
Yes.
On the big course, I would say the most notable change is clearly that they, tons of golf courses spend nearly $30 million just to move a tee back 75 yards to buy out property on another course.
Normal occurrence.
Very normal. So anyway, they've moved back the tee on 13, the par 5. So here's a picture of that. I mean, they're going to walk off a 12 green and just go like 90 degrees left and up the hill, and then
a little hiking trip.
Look at that. That's beautiful though. That is beautiful.
Well, like they do everything there. It just looks like it's always been there.
It looks like
the tee's been forever.
That bench has been there hundreds of years.
Yes.
Bobby Jones' butt cheek sat on that very bench, but no, that didn't happen. So what do you think that's going to do the whole, we also had JT Poston on our podcast talking about his experience. He got to play it a couple weeks ago, but what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, you got about 35 more yards, added onto that hole. So the thing that I noticed is you're definitely going to see longer irons into the green, which is what they wanted to do. I mean, that's what they want here. Rory was playing at Augusta a few weeks ago. He said he hit a lot of 5 irons into the green, and he was hitting 8 irons last year. So that's a big difference. I mean, you can do a lot into a green with an 8 iron. You can flight it a lot different than you can with a 5 iron in your hand. So I think it is going to change it a decent amount, where guys are really going to have to think about, do I really want to go at this green? and give myself an eagle opportunity, or just lay up, because it's a pretty easy layup. You have so much room to lay up to, and then you can just kind of find your perfect number, and then it's a pretty easy wedge into whatever pin position they have to try to get a birdie. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys do, but definitely they have accomplished what they wanted, and that's a little bit longer iron into the green.
Yeah, I think you're going to see you're going to see less eagles.
Yeah,
it's less easy eagles. They're
can't cut that corner as much either. They used to really just kind of draw it around the corner.
Yeah,
and you can't really do it. You'll still, it's a little bit of a draw, but I think JT mentioned it. More kind of bail out to the right now. So
yeah, JT said this, and a couple of other players have said this lately, that Augusta has turned into less of a right to left bias off the tee golf course, not like it used to be, because it's been lengthened so much. It's really just straight, it's really just as straight as you can hit it, or a slight draw, slight fade doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
So I think we're starting to see that go away, and with guys not being able to hit 3-wood that they can try to sling around the corner easier than they can a driver, I think you're going to see more guys hitting driver and more guys hitting it straight down the middle, or maybe a little to the right, but it's definitely going to make that whole play different. The other big change is we're to the par 3 course, and we're going to see the par 3 course hopefully on Wednesday if thunderstorms and all that crap don't get in the way. But hopefully we see the brand new par 3 course this coming Wednesday, as it's one of the best events in golf. It's one of the most fun events to watch on TV every year.
Yeah.
But apparently they completely redid this thing. They changed greens. They took out a bunch of trees, I believe. We just got sent this from our buddy Ben. It says perhaps some of the most notable changes are the new greens, which were resurfaced and recontoured in 2023. They feature an alternative variety of bent grass, different from the club's traditional A1 bent grass, that will serve as a testing ground for the grass' possible future inclusion at the big course. And the primary renovation was also to make wider corridors for patrons to move around and to open the viewing options on the par 3 course, so multiple greens can be seen from one location. So Augusta National possibly looking at changing the strand of bent grass greens in the future by testing it out here on the par 3.
I think that's big news. I really do. I mean, the greens are what everybody like to talk about on the big course, and just not just the slope, but how fast they can get them. And so that's interesting to me that they may test out a new bent grass strand there.
Yeah. Let's get into some things we got to remember, things we got to know, trends at Augusta, key stats, all that stuff. And I think the first thing we got to talk through again, and I mentioned it up top, is the weather. So currently, and like I said, Augusta seems to be one of these weird places. Lived here my whole life. You basically have to. It changes very quickly, and it can just be dead wrong sometimes. Yeah. So and Augusta National weather right over that golf course also seems to be its own microclimate. But as of now, Thursday looks to be the day to score. If you don't take advantage of Thursday, you might be in trouble if this forecast holds up. Very light winds all day. It's going to be the warmest day on the course, getting up into the 80s. But then on Friday there's some system coming in Friday evening or something, as it's projected now, where we're going to get gusts in the 20s, mid 20s, sustained winds at that 12, 13 miles an hour, a lot cooler temperatures that don't make it out of the 60s. And then on Saturday, if this holds up, I am currently seeing temperatures on Saturday not getting barely out of the 50s.
Whoa.
With wind gusts in the 20s and even low 30s, sustained winds 10 to 14 miles an hour. That is going to be that's going to totally change the whole golf course.
It will.
And the dynamic of the course. Sunday looks like it might calm down a little bit, still a little windy in the morning, but still chilly. So that can do a lot of things. The more wind that pops up at Augusta, typically that means it's going to actually bring your grinders, even possibly your shorter hitters, more into play, because you're going to have guys going for it less on par 5s. They're going to be laying up more, so then it's going to be a wedge contest for everybody. You're going to have everybody missing greens, so then it's going to be more of a short game contest to get up and down. Like the year we saw Zach Johnson win in 2007, it's kind of what happened. So the tougher these conditions become, it's going to be kind of a grind fest, and it really might change the whole complexion of your player pool, whether you're betting or playing DFS.
Yeah, because it's going to bring a whole lot of other guys into this tournament.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. I mean, if we look back on when Zach Johnson won, if it does turn out to be something like that, I mean, that was the thing with him is you're going to probably see like just a guy that's trying to make pars, make birdies when he has an opportunity, but it's not going to be as, a score fest as we've seen lately. And they get it pretty hard anyway. So it's not like they're, it's going to be like the DJ year when he won at 18, 19 under or whatever it was. But you might have to have a little bit lower ball flight. That could change a little bit, because if you're hitting the ball, typically the guys that hit it really high do well at Augusta, because you got to hit it high into those greens, into those spots, What are you looking at me funny?
I mean, we have a lot of content to do today, and hours of content, in fact. And the fact that you, sir, were the first person to bring.
Well,
you didn't say the word.
I did not say the word.
You didn't say the word. But
I did not say.
You said it.
I kind of did,
but you didn't say it. Is apex height.
Yeah.
We're talking about apex height. It is a radar stat measured on the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. How high does the ball get when it apexes? And I mean, if the wind is calm, if there's not weather at Augusta, it is a fact that being able to hit your irons higher at Augusta from key ranges like 180 yards to 225 yards is the number one thing you need to have in your arsenal to win at Augusta. It's actually not putting. People think it's, people are like, you got to putt well at Augusta. Listen to this, Pat. This is crazy. In the last 15 years, only 2 winners have entered the Masters ranked 50th or better in strokes gained putting for that season. In the last 15 years, only 2. DJ,
write that down.
DJ, which is shocking, by the way, in 2020. DJ and Jordan Spieth are your only 2 winners that have been 50th or better in strokes gained putting. Make no question about it. Winning at Augusta National comes down to long iron play, mid to long iron play. A lot of courses on the PGA Tour don't get these guys hitting that many shots from their higher end clubs. And
it's more so now because of the changes.
Yeah, and even more
that they've
so
made
now.
Not just this year, but over the last several years.
Yep. Obviously, short game's important. Strokes gained around the green is important no matter what. But when it is more difficult, if this wind does kick up, like we said, you're going to want to weight that more for sure. You got to take advantage of the par 5s here. Augusta experience. We always talk about course history at Augusta. That definitely gets a bump whenever we get to the Masters. And you don't win. You're not going to win if you're not coming in form. So, one of our favorite segments we like to do here on the Better Sports Network to help educate maybe you newbies, you rookie first-time golf bettors, DFS players, is give you just the tip, right? Just the little nugget that you need to know to keep you out of trouble. And me and Pat, we've started to make a living now on Tour Junkies of betting long shots. I mean, we're on a heater. We've hit 2 50-1 winners in the last 3 weeks, right? We're on a heater. And it's easy to get swept up in that. It's easy to say, well, we got this.
Rest on your laurels a little bit.
And think that a 50-1 winner, 60-1 winner is going to hit. It's very likely not going to hit at Augusta. So I think what we have to do is kind of, for Masters Week, we're all excited, We see Minwoo Lee staring at you at 70-1 or whatever. And he's hot and sexy, and everybody really loves him. And we're seeing these guys, and I think you got to kind of recalibrate and realize that it is very unlikely. Not that it can't happen, okay, but it is highly unlikely. You've got to check some of these boxes, hit some of these trends. First of all, let me give you a few trends, Pat. I got a bunch of them. I don't want to bore people with all of them, but I think these are important. The last 11 winners were ranked inside the top 25 in the world golf ranking. Okay, first timer. We talk about this every year. Very unlikely to win. Hasn't happened since Fuzzy.
Yeah, 1977.
Were you born in that?
That was the year I was born.
The year you were born.
Yeah, good job.
Good, dear God. 24 of the last 25 winners made a cut the previous year in the Masters. 13 of the last 15 winners, I'm talking about winners here, finished 22nd or higher in their previous Masters. So you got to make the cut. You got to have done something. Top 25 at minimum, top 22 at minimum in the previous Masters to make it happen. 12 of the last 14 winners had won a tournament on U.S. soil within 2 years prior of winning the Masters. 11 of the last 13 winners finished in the top 6 of a major championship within 2 years of winning. And 13 of the last 14 winners ranked in the top 50 in driving distance in the year leading up to their Masters win. So what do you hear there? You hear a little bit of age, a little bit of experience. Okay. Scottie Scheffler was 26. He was He was one of the ones that wasn't 27 or older. But
Yeah.
age comes into play. Laps around Augusta, and not just laps, but your last year needs to be pretty good.
Yeah.
This eliminates guys like, if you're looking at the trends, and trends can be bucked, but that eliminates a guy like Max Homa.
It does,
which is hard to ignore the way Max Homa plays.
And it probably hurts you even more.
It does.
You love him.
It hurts me bad.
Yeah.
It also eliminates a guy like Cam Young.
Yeah.
You know, who everybody's talking about right now. A top 6 in a major, right? That's going to probably eliminate a few guys. So all this to say, we got to keep the betting card probably a little tighter, okay? And it probably doesn't need to venture beyond that 40 to 50 to 1 mark. We're going to have some
we got to give out some long shots, but I agree there for sure.
Because it can happen.
Yeah.
What else? What else is there anything else we kind of, there's a few injuries to talk through that maybe just people need to be aware of. Willie Z, coming off of his injury, the hip injury, has had to change his golf swing, which I think is probably one of the more.
Yeah.
That's actually the one I like the least, because he's had to change his swing in order to. I mean, he's a hot name. He's finished runner-up in 6th at Augusta.
I feel like Willie Z is the one guy, like when anybody that just knows you and I talk golf and whatever it is, but he's the one guy I've heard the most this year of like people that they maybe they're not just paying attention enough about like kind of being their sneaky pick, Yeah. And I just don't think he's sneaky at all, and I think you shouldn't pick him. I don't think you take Willie Z. As good as his track record is here, I think you got to watch out for him. I'm not seeing it with him.
The swing change is causing an issue, or the injuries cause a swing change, and that takes time. Not to mention the putting is still atrocious and very, very nightmarish at times, the short putting. Obviously Hideki's always a thing. He's always got a neck back thing, KT tape on his neck, but he's playing well right now at Valero. Yes. We'll see how that goes. I'm not worried about Tyrrell Hatton, who kind of had this hand injury scare the first round of the WGC Dell match play. He did miss the cut at Valero this week. I don't think it's
not
a huge
surprising,
deal. No.
Really. I mean, some of these top players that play the week before, don't always put their best effort forth.
Yeah. So Fitzpatrick worries me a little bit. I think whatever's going on with his neck, something's not right with him. His ball striking's not been quite the same. That's one to be on the lookout for. And then a few just kind of random. I mean, we got to talk Tiger. Like, I think Tiger and Jason Day, if the weather is that cold, if it's that nasty, like it's small, but that's a little bit of a negative. I mean, especially for Tiger. I mean, Jay Day's been playing so well. I mean, he's going to do everything he can to he wants that green jacket, as much as anybody, but he doesn't have the greatest track record in bad weather.
No, he doesn't. But yeah, Tiger would worry me a little more than Jason Day.
And then of course Bryson's ego, because he can barely break par on live. So he's not done great at Augusta. When it was a par 67 or 68 for him a few years back, and Bernhard Langer.
Is ego an injury? Does that count as an injury?
saying, if I got a chance to work in a Bryson shot, I'll do it. Okay, we got to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about breaking down a few guys specifically, looking at some odds boards, talking about the DraftKings cash game lineup, and don't forget the way that you can win a chance to get this lovely Masters gnome I'm going to show you here in just a second. So stay right here on the Tour Junkies Golf Show on the Better Sports Network.
Talk sports with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Better Sports Network.
Let me say something about Tiger. Tiger has had to redesign his entire swing. Tiger has a difference in the length of his legs because of that horrible accident. In golf, there's no hey, you can't walk the greens, you have to take a cart. So I assumed by day 3 on Sunday, the inflammation would start. He took a couple breaks where they take care of his back a little bit, but it is fascinating watching him. So it gave me this thought, is he that skilled at golf? Or is this a mental thing of dedication and determination? He is so dedicated to the sport that no matter what, he's relentless to it. And the dedication and determination goes to the golf, the swing, the playing, the walking, but it goes to his overall health. The average person who doesn't stay in great shape, gets in an accident like that, goes through multiple surgeries, is not recovering and going out there to walk. And that course has some pretty steep inclines, a lot of walking. I mean, how else can you factor these athletes, the Michael Jordans, the LeBrons, these players that their whole focus is really optimal health, optimal body skills, and then what comes next is being the best at what they do.
I think you just hit on why Tiger still has that drive. I don't know this. I don't know the man. It could just be love of the game. It could be, yo, I want to make as much money as I can while playing. Could be all this stuff. But LA, a lot of people think Tiger Woods is the GOAT of golf. And I don't understand how you can be the GOAT of golf when you are 3 majors short of Jack Nicklaus. Okay. So like LeBron, I don't think he cares what guys like me say anymore, right? He's past Kareem. He thinks he's the GOAT. I mean, he's 3rd on my list. He's in the debate. Many other people think he's the GOAT. He's not my GOAT. You know what I mean? So I wonder if Tiger is there, like LeBron, like, I don't care what the pundits, what the barbershops say. I'm the GOAT. I don't have to do anything more. This is all gravy. I wonder if Tiger looks at it that way.
I don't know what Tiger's mindset is in the GOAT status, but when players talk about what it's like to be at a tournament, when Tiger's playing versus when he's not, they'll tell you that they're on the greens and they can hear the roar 4 holes over, and that there is nothing that compares to the excitement of when he's present.
Better Sports Live, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, exclusively on Better Sports Network. Or listen whenever you want on the app with BSN On Demand. Now back to Tour Junkies on Better Sports Network.
All right, welcome back to the Tour Junkies Golf Show for the Masters 2023 on Better Sports Network. We've been giving you a lot of information you need to know about Augusta National, about the Masters, about some of the players coming in, some heads up on some things, injuries, key stats, this weather situation that could be developing in Augusta. Now let's get down and dirty. Let's talk about some odds, top of the board, looking at some of the live guys.
Yeah,
maybe a couple of long shots, even though I tried to talk you out of getting too cute with the long shots, but let's do a little bit of that. Pat, you got Rory and Scheffler as co-favorites, basically. With and I think this is wrong. I think this is an egregious oversight by the odds makers that Jon Rahm would be longer odds than Rory. I don't care if everyone wants Rory to win. He doesn't. He is not more likely to me to win than Jon Rahm right now. Jon Rahm is playing better. I think I trust Jon Rahm more than Rory. I think Rory gets to Augusta and he just turns into this beta boy. He can't get it done. It's not happening. I wouldn't have Rory priced shorter than Rahm. Do you disagree? I'm sure you do.
You know what? Actually, I don't disagree.
You don't?
I don't.
You're
no.
such a Rory.
I love Rory, and I'm one of those folks. I want him to win. Yes, I want him to win, but I don't think he should be, have better odds to win than Jon Rahm. I just don't think that. And it's interesting. This is golf for you. I mean, literally a month ago, we are just lamenting the fact that Jon Rahm is winning every golf tournament as a favorite. And, he's going to win every golf tournament this year and every major. We might as well just not even bet anybody else.
Yeah.
And now here he is because of what Scheffler's done lately, winning the Players' Championship, almost winning it on Palmer. Rory is, played well, got down to the, almost to the championship of the match play. He didn't make it into it. And, then he beat Scheffler, in the consolation, which who cares about that anyway. But I just think Jon Rahm should be, more of a favorite than Rory. So, you know what? I actually agree with you, DB.
I mean, he's won 3 times in 2023.
Yeah. Yeah. We forgot about that?
I really feel like it's like on FanDuel right now, you can get, so Scotty and Rory are both plus 750. Rahm is 950. That's insane.
And if you want to bet one of those 3, I think you bet Rahm.
The value is definitely good. And speaking of trends, we didn't mention this one. I mean, how many guys actually have won the Masters in back-to-back years? It's very few.
It is rare.
Arnie, the Tiger? Shame.
I would not be surprised,
but I have a terrible memory. So,
yeah.
So I mean, the trends would say that it would be quite the accomplishment, the rare accomplishment for Scotty to win. And if you want to continue going with that, then my next click would be Jon Rahm.
Yeah,
at the top.
By the way, quick little trivia question: so Tiger, I think, did win back to back. Do you know who you don't give yourself the jacket?
It's still the previous guy.
No, I think it's the chairman gives you the
chairman.
So anyway,
I
could be
that.
wrong, but we'll see.
If
Scheffler wins, we'll get to see.
So as we look further down the board, though, you've got a little name there that I know a lot of people are interested in, Jordan Spieth, the guy who. He just makes everybody feel magical at Augusta. Everybody just gets all, they get chicken skin and they start, feeling real weird.
Yeah.
And they just feel good and tingly. And it's because Jordan is the golden boy of golf and he seems like the golden boy of Augusta National. And, He's playing well again. He's at 1,700 on FanDuel. I'm looking around other places. I don't know if you see any better numbers, but what do we think on Jordan's week here?
Well, I mean, he is definitely one that I think you got to look out for. I like the odds a little better. If you were looking more towards the beginning of the year, he was right at 20-1, if not a little better than that, which is one of the reasons we always say for the majors, especially the Masters, getting in on some of these odds early is you can definitely get an advantage on some of these guys. But I still like Jordan Spieth at 16-1. I like where his game is. He seems very confident, even after what happened to him at the Valspar, where he really should have won that golf tournament. Had a bad drive on, I think it was 16.
Thank God he didn't, though.
Yeah, well, because we hit Taylor Moore 50-1.
No big deal.
But anyway, and he said he was just kind of testing some things out, which is, that's a little sign of confidence, actually. If you're just like willing to hit a drive that he typically struggles with, he even said that, but he's working on it, and so he stuck with that. I like where his game is at this week. So Jordan Spieth at 16-1, I still think, or 17-1, I would definitely go with it. But DB, I mean, we got to get a few live guys in here, and Cam Smith is the favorite of the live guys, and I still like him. I don't care what tour he's playing on, okay? He's still a fantastic golfer. He was excellent last year, has not been great. You probably have his finishes in front of you, maybe.
I do,
year.
yes. Cam, well, he did finish 6th in Mayakoba,
okay,
26th in Tucson, and we just had the leaderboard up earlier.
He's in the top 20, I think, but
okay,
it's not great.
Top 20 at a live event.
But I do like Cam Smith at 20-1.
By the way, I think our wonderful producer Tony has a picture for you here, Pat. Look at this. We're going to get to prove Pat right. Yes. When Tiger did it, 2002, there's Chairman Billy Payne. Isn't that Billy Payne?
That's Billy Payne.
Chairman Billy Payne giving him the jacket. No, Hootie Johnson.
Oh, yeah, no, that is Hootie.
That's
That is Hootie. They both wear those dark glasses.
Yeah. All these old rich white guys start to look the same after a few years. But old Hootie Johnson's there doing his thing. So I was going to ask you about Cam. You brought him up.
Yeah.
So, when you hear people talk about the live guys, you're hearing like two names, Cam and DJ, which makes sense. I will say the one thing about Cam, and I think you could probably say this about DJ. One thing about Cam is I do feel like Cam is weatherproof. Cam is like he's your Rain-X on your windshield. He is weatherproof. In beautiful sunlight, he's fine. And if it's raining, you're still going to be good.
Yeah.
I feel like if it gets gnarly, that might help him a little more, but I still trust him if the weather is perfect. We've seen him do well at Augusta. He's got all the tools at Augusta. I think Cam is in play. I really do. I think, and we may be getting a discount on him in the betting odds because of the general public's lack of faith in, is he really playing competitive golf on a week in, week out basis, and is that going to affect his form? 21-1 on FanDuel is the best number I see right now. FanDuel's giving you that extra little blip right now. So, as of Sunday afternoon, when we're recording this, by the way, we want to remind you of that. This is Sunday afternoon, so we've not seen the finished product of Live Orlando yet or Valero Texas Open. Odds haven't, moved maybe as much as they have when you're watching this, but Cam at 21-1 is interesting. I want to ask you, other than him and DJ, though, before I get your answer, but I want to ask you, is there any other Live player that you feel like you could bet on that you actually think could close the door and win at Augusta this year? But before I do, the Tour Junkies have a giveaway. So we've got our known giveaway that the Better Sports Network is doing. And I'm going to tell you about that here in just a few minutes. But the Tour Junkies are also having a giveaway. I'm going to throw a picture up here, let you look at it, see what we got. Me and Pat made it to the pro shop yesterday at Augusta National. You got a lovely sign there. Let me tell you, that watch, that is a 2023 Masters watch. That thing is very nice looking. You got a Masters polo and then some Tour Junkies swag. Tour Junkies putter head cover, trucker hat, and beer sleeve. So you can pack and hide 6 beers from your golf course, hall monitors. Slide that in your bag so you can hide the beers. You don't have to pay for it in the pro shop. All you got to do to win that is join our Discord. So go to Discord, go to tourjunkies.com/nuthut. That's what we call it, the Nut Hut. Welcome to the Nut Hut. Come to the Discord. If you join the Discord on an annual subscription, then you are going to be in the raffle to win that. We're just going to draw a name at random on probably Wednesday night or Thursday. We'll do that this week. So hurry and get in there. Links are in the descriptions of all of our stuff. Linktree on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you find us. If you have a question, hit us up on one of those platforms and we'll point you in the right direction. But join the Discord and you're going to get entered into the drawing to win that. All right, so Pat, who's the one live guy outside of those two you feel the most confident
Well,
about?
I'd like to get a little bit cute on this pick, but I think I'm not, and I'm going to go with the guy we were talking about earlier, Brooks Koepka. I mean, his odds have gone down the most of anybody over the last few weeks, and you look
plummeted.
Yes, I mean, I think 40-1 is the best I've seen, but most of them you're looking at 35-1, so somewhere around in there. But Brooks is a guy we've talked about this. I mean, he loves the big stage of majors, and that is where he typically shines. And just the fact that we are seeing him now, I don't like to put too much into the week before. And I'm talking Valero also over in Texas, and then I'm talking this week on Live. But seeing some form out of Brooks and possibly with a chance to win the Live event this week is huge, okay?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. So at 40-1, I think he is the one. I mean, and here's what when you're looking at majors, it's like you got to see like who's the guy that you can picture wearing that green jacket. Right?
Yeah.
Who's the guy you can picture? There's a lot of guys that I probably can't see that are playing in Live that like Louis Oosthuizen. I don't picture him wearing the green jacket. Now he does great in majors, but I don't see him picture it. Brooks Koepka, I think, can win. And you know what? We've seen him play well here in the past. Now the last couple times he's missed the cut, but he hadn't been healthy, and he talked about that. If you watch the Netflix special, he mentioned that. So he hasn't been healthy, but when he has been healthy, he has played very well. 2019, he was T2, and that was when Tiger won and really had a chance to win. He was one of those guys that hit it in the water on 12, and then he was T7 in 2020. Now, that was the November Masters, which is a little bit of an asterisk, but still, he has definitely had some good finishes on this course. So Brooks Koepka would be that guy for me.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree, only because of how what we're seeing out of him this week and kind of the semblance of form he started to show with the Live, the new season on Live. But there are also some long shots that people do want. If they just want to throw a couple little coins at it, just some long shots. Just maybe it's that you're bucking the trends, but it'd just be cool if it happened and you had them, right?
Yeah. So
looking at a few bombs before we take our last break and come into our next segment, talk about the Gnome giveaway, talk about our DraftKings cash lineup, and any closing thoughts. I want to kind of look at a couple guys in if these conditions do get nasty. And I think if they do, you bring in a couple of Euros. The first one I'm looking at is a guy who I was very high on this week at the Valero Texas Open, and he's having a solid week. He looks like he's probably going to turn in a top 20 or top 30, and it's Alex Noren, who's competed and played well in majors before. He's got a really nasty short game. It'd be a long shot, but that's why he's 180-1 to get it done. That is a big bomb. After that, I'll give you one that we hit back in 2016. We placed the bet in November. And then in 2016, we actually forgot we had the ticket when Jordan Spieth dunked multiple balls in the water on 12. And Danny Willett went on to win the Masters at 150-1, and we had the ticket. He is 130-1 right now. Danny's had some decent finishes this week. He's kind of this year, shown some consistency. The short game has been good. Again, these two are really, if it's just really nasty.
Yeah.
But whether it's nasty or it's good conditions, I do think one long shot is Justin Rose.
Yes.
At 60-1.
Absolutely.
I mean, we saw Sergio.
He's 75-1.
Is he?
On FanDuel.
Even better. 75-1 on FanDuel right now. We saw Sergio do it, an old guy that we thought would never get it done. At least, Justin's won a major before.
Yeah.
He's won this year on the PGA Tour. He's showing some form. So I think Jay Rose might find his way on my betting card.
I totally agree. As a matter of fact, while you were talking there, I was thinking about it. Experienced guys. You mentioned that earlier. Guys who know this course well. And, Justin Rose has almost won this golf tournament a few times. So I like him at 75-1. Now, here's one too, DB. Now, I think actually if we get some kind of crazy weather and he could be, you don't have no clue what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But he's won this tournament before.
Okay.
Adam Scott. I think Adam Scott at 90-1 could be sneaky.
Yeah,
could be sneaky.
His ball striking's been suspect lately.
Yeah, but still, you get that. Yeah. You need that grinder type mentality. I think he can get in there and get the job done.
All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to tell you how to win the Gnome on the Better Sports giveaway. Tell you what you need to do to learn how to win the Gnome, and then we're going to hit the DraftKings cash lineup. So stay right here on the Tour Junkies Golf Show on the Better Sports Network.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I just opened my inbox, and there was a little connection to a story at the local paper about salad bars are coming back to St. Louis. We haven't had them since COVID, Ray. I'm a big salad bar guy. I love going to the local grocery mart and doing a salad bar. I get it. It's kind of disgusting. Hell, they put a sneeze guard over the food.
What is this? Some kind of force field around these vegetables. That's the sneeze guard. You have to lean under it to get salad or sneeze on stuff.
But all these disappeared. Ray, I used to do the salad bar probably at least 2 times a week for lunch. And I would just load up, because I didn't have to cut anything. And I didn't have to buy like a whole cucumber, just have a little bit of cucumber in my salad. I'm a big salad bar guy, but these things have been gone for 3 years. And I think I'm going to get back into the salad bar game, baby.
I used to love buffets and salad bars and all that kind of stuff, and I haven't been to one since COVID. I'll tell the story quickly. My nephew, who at the time, I want to say was 5, we were on a little trip, and we went to, it was a brunch and everything like that. They had ice cream. So my nephew, doesn't know any better because he's 5, puts his spoon in the ice cream, which is cool, right? He's going to spoon it out, fine. But he doesn't spoon it out into his bowl. He spoons it into his mouth and then sticks it back in the ice cream. And I'm like, so we had to talk to the manager. I had to get him to pull the ice. And I started thinking to myself, you look around, people are,
yeah, that 5-year-old germs wasn't going to hurt anybody.
No, but you know what I mean. Then you look at this old person and they're grabbing this. It's just, when you start thinking about it, I have a real struggle at this point with it now because I've thought about it, but I used to love going to them previously.
Well, and everybody's using the tongs there. Everybody's touching those. God knows where those hands have been.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've yet to see anybody actually sneeze under the sneeze guard. Maybe if I see that, Ray, it'll change my whole outlook.
Right? It's like
there is a reason the sneeze guard is there. It must happen enough that somebody said, we got to put these suckers in.
Yeah.
But I love salad bars, and I'm back in, Ray. I've never gotten sick off one, so it's easy for me to say, but I'm getting back in the salad bar game.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Better Sports Network. Tee off with the Tour Junkies on Better Sports Network.
All right, Tour Junkies Golf Show back for the Masters on the Better Sports Network. And listen, you want to win this little guy, the Masters caddy gnome. Now, this is not just coming out of my house, okay? I have the box. He's just been taken out of the box briefly. But you can see, cute little guy.
Yeah.
That would go really nicely on your desk. You could win this guy. All you got to do is join us on the Better Sports Network app this Thursday for our Better Cast of the Masters for your chance to win the gnome, the official Masters gnome. Learn more and see event times in the free newsletter by registering at bettersports.com. The Better Insights newsletter is now live. We've been getting it to our inbox this week. It's great stuff. Information about the gnome giveaway will be in that, and also check out the Better Cast on Thursday to win the gnome. Don't forget to join our Discord if you want that swag bundle that we showed you earlier. And with the remaining time we have, we need to knock out our DFS 50-50 or double up cash lineup for the Masters. Let's get to it, Pat.
Okay.
All right, so we're trying to do is get 6 guys through the cut, which shouldn't be hard considering his top 50 in ties of probably 88 players.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a larger percentage of guys make it through and play the weekend than normal on a PGA Tour event. It could be anywhere from 55 to even 65% of the field will be playing the weekend. So you're obviously going to need 6 of 6. And we don't have to get too cute here. We can avoid the top 3 if we want. I'll let you start. Tell me where we're going.
Well, I know this guy has injury concerns at times, but he is one of my favorite cash plays this week at 8,400 Hideki. What do you think about Hideki at 8,400? Come on. I mean, the guy just has an excellent track record. He hasn't missed a cut in like 5 years.
I'll do it. I mean, he was more of an injury concern going into this week at the Valero, and I played him a ton. So I'll do it. I believe in him. Okay. I believe in Hideki. All right. I will. I'm gonna try to take us to the top end of our. Let me see here. I don't love. I don't know. I don't love Colin Morikawa to win the golf tournament, but I do feel like I do feel like he'll do very well.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about him at 9,100?
Definitely. He was actually who I was probably going to go to if in the 9K range.
I think it's going to be tough for him to win with the short game that he has, but I think his ball striking is good enough that he can, he'll top 20 at worst.
Yeah, I agree there. All right, you know what? I'm going to go with the guy we just talked about as a potential long shot winner at 7,800, Justin Rose.
All right, I got to be down with that. I brought him up. Yeah. So one guy that we haven't talked about yet, but maybe one of my absolute favorite plays of all this week at 8,900 on DraftKings. Where he be now? Tony Finau.
Yes,
he be in my cash game lineup.
I'm with you there. Totally with you there. So, all right. Well,
2 spots left. Averaging 7,900 apiece.
I want to kind of get down into that mid 7K range, but I don't know if there's anybody like I'm super confident in right there. Sungjae M is one of my sneakier plays this week. Good. I mean, yeah, let's go Sungjae.
I love Sungjae. I don't think he's going to be sneaky.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Not at all. I think a lot of people are. Okay, so that gets us to a couple of names here that we've already talked about. I mean, Adam Scott, who you just mentioned, but I don't know that I'm not going to pull the trigger on Adam Scott. Okay. Corey Connors, who has an incredible record at Augusta.
Yeah.
And as we're recording the show late on a Sunday afternoon, has now taken a 2-shot lead over Chris Kirk now because Patrick Rogers has Patrick Rogers, which is exactly what I wanted to happen and has always happened with Patrick Rogers. So Corey Connors is probably about to win the Valero, and
for the second time.
He's incredible at Augusta. That feels about as safe as it gets in this range.
I agree. 9 of 11 cuts this season.
The next safest one, I would say, believe it or not, just for a good finish, is Tommy Fleetwood at 77.
Yeah,
but I like Connors.
I think we go Connors. I'm bigger on that one.
All right, so the cash lineup is Hideki Matsuyama, Kyle Morikawa, Justin Rose, Tony Finau, Sungjae M, and Corey Connors. Do we miss anything, Pat? What do we think? We excited?
I am pumped, as always, for Masters Week, and we got a ton of content coming out. So
yeah, that's true.
Excited for that as well.
Yeah, check out the Tour Junkies wherever you listen to podcasts. We did another Junkies Court segment with the famous Lisa Ann. That was a lot of fun, telling you, trying to sell you on a couple of outright bombs. Not really bombs, but kind of mid-range guys that you probably should check out. That's on YouTube and on the podcast feed. We've got our betting show. Our DFS show is out. We'll be doing live chats in our Discord, a couple of those on Wednesday, one on Wednesday afternoon, one on Wednesday night. 2 email newsletters for you to check out that you can get if you go to tourjunkies.com/chalkbomb. You get a weekly email on Tuesday that's going to give you a bunch of stats, a bunch of data, a bunch of stuff to know. And then you're going to get another email on Wednesday with some head-to-head matchup analysis, some DFS kind of chalk report, chalk analysis, chalk bomb. It's just a fantastic couple of emails. So you want to get involved in all of this as well as the giveaways. Check out the YouTube channel. We've just got stuff going on everywhere all week. It's Masters. It's the best time of the year. It's in our backyard. Thanks for watching the Tour Junkies Golf Show on the Better Sports Network. We'll see you back next week for the RBC Heritage at Hilton Head. It's an elevated event. Let's go. See you out.